When you boot up Steam and you want to play a large-scale milsim, what game first comes to mind? Well, it's probably Arma, and that's because Arma is the premier military sandbox experience. From base game modes and operations, thousands of mods to pick and choose from to create your own missions, or even play Zeus for your friends, and even being the base game for offshoot mods turned standalones like DayZ or PUBG, Arma is by far the #1 powerhouse when it comes to realistic and customizable military gaming. As much as I love Squad, modding for it has been a bit of a disappointment. If anyone has tried to wrap their head around these tools, you would have found yourself ripping your hair out and cursing the devs as hours and hours of work results in endless loading screens and hard crashes to desktop. One of the most notable mods that I can think of is actually KarmaCut's Dynamic Direction. Karma and his team had put hundreds, if not thousands of hours into creating a new type of way to play Squad, and ultimately the SDK itself just prevented them doing it at almost every step of the way. As fun as it was, Dynamic Direction was eventually discontinued. While Dynamic Direction tried to do a lot of things differently and really change how game modes worked, overhaul mods like Galactic Contention, Supermod, or Global Escalation have been extremely popular, but they're not fundamentally different. Dynamic Direction was a huge change in how Squad was played, and that's why they kept running into so many problems with the SDK. But if you just want to be a clone trooper storming the fields of Naboo, the core Squad game is actually not that different. You're still playing vanilla game modes like Invasion or Random Advanced and Secure. Now, I don't want to say that the work the Dynamic Direction team did was more or better or anything like that compared to something like Galactic Contention, which is a crazy amount of work. But the point is, Squad's SDK has made it a pain for modders to try to customize their experiences for years now. However, this looks like it's all about to change. Squad just put out this tweet stating that bots are coming to SDK in seed mode in our next update. Soon you'll be able to get in a proper warm-up while waiting for the action to kick off. Now on the outset, this might not seem like a big deal, but it is a big deal. One major thing that has differentiated Arma from Squad over the years is the distinct lack of AI or NPC players. It's all PvP all the time, and although I do love PvP, it's no secret that tactical shooter players in general do like those old school Arma 3 PvE operations, or even the newer Arma Reforgers conflict mode where it's PvP, but you actually first have to clear out a PvE faction before you get to fight each other. AI in these games add a lot of ways to customize or enhance experiences if done right. And what gets me excited about this new Squad update is this line right here. Incoming Squid Bots by Squidders. More likely than not, you know who Squidders is even if you don't know the name. Squidders is an OG Squad YouTuber who went down a crazy impressive path of hilarious meme edits to self-proclaimed Squad SDK wizard, and based on his work, he actually got hired at OWI as a dev. Seeing the difference in one of his older Squad videos, which is a hilarious meme edit, but it is just Squad gameplay, to a fully directed Emu Wars video, it's crazy how much work Squidders has put into understanding Unreal Engine as well as Squad's OWI core. Throughout all of this though, Squidders' most notable mod was Squid Bots Zeus, which allowed you to place proper AI in-game and then create actions for them to do, not unlike Arma's Zeus game mode. Now, I tried playing around with this myself, but the nature of Squad mods is if it's not updated to the new version of Squad, well, the mod's not going to work. So here is instead a small clip from a 2-hour Zeus operation by Squidders, which was actually linked on the workshop page, and I've also linked it down below. But as you can see, it's incredibly involved and insanely impressive for a mod. If you compare this to what Reforger is doing right now, it's almost exactly the same thing. Once again, this is something that he was all doing with just the SDK and not the full developmental engine for Squad. But now, as an OWI employee, I can only imagine what the final product for these new Squad bots are going to look like. This is absolutely groundbreaking for Squad. I'm excited, and this is why you should be too. First off, let's take a look at the bots in the seeding game mode. Now, seeding a server is pain. If you don't know what seed mode is, it's taking a server from empty to full, and it requires players to essentially hang out and mindlessly play a very boring round of team deathmatch for up to an hour or two until enough other players decide to join the server, and only then can you play a real match. The goal of seeding game modes is not to win. but you simply want to keep people entertained just enough to play a real game, and even servers with huge communities like my own with the potato fields, it can still be very tough to seed every single server all of the time. Including bots and seeding will prevent the boring 1v1s or 1v2s that happen at the beginning of seeds, and instead players can jump in and help out the server while actually having a bit of fun until the population reaches the critical mass. But there's a better reason to be excited about these bots, and to do that I first have to address those of y'all who might see this announcement and say this. And honestly, this is just footage from training though, not to be that guy pooping on a parade, but I think they should focus effort a bit more on what draws users to the community, not isolates them. If we take a look at the video that was also on the workshop page, and this was posted February 2023, so almost a year and a half ago, we see that these bots are reacting to contact, they're moving to cover, and they also perform other actions that make them seem relatively fun to play against during seeding. But I don't just want to focus on seeding. Squad for years has mentioned they want to have a game mode overhaul, and one of the most requested game modes to fix is Insurgency, which was actually one of the primary game modes for the older Project Reality game. In Insurgency, conventional factions have to search for and destroy weapon caches while insurgents defend them. It's not a straightforward game mode. You don't just go in one line and attacking something like Advanced and Secure or Invasion. You can flank around, not find a cache. You can go somewhere and all of a sudden a cache pops up right underneath you. It's really different. It's kind of fun, but there's a lot of poorly implemented mechanics in the squad version of Insurgency, and because of that, servers really don't run it. Talking with past Project Reality players, not having Insurgency really well implemented is a huge misstep. And I think nowadays, most players can count on one hand the amount of Insurgency games that they've actually played. But one way Insurgency could be overhauled to be more fun and engaging is the inclusion of bot civilians. This will make it feel much more like a real Insurgency, and it will require conventional factions to not just watch their fire and positive ID their target, but it will also allow insurgents the chance to blend in for ambushes and other quite realistic insurgent tactics. But let's say I'm reaching here. Let's say the squad devs have no intention to mod this and create a civilian insurgent bot type game mode. Well, the devs are releasing these bots to the SDK, meaning that players now no longer have to create their own janky bot AI system anymore from the ground up, and instead can simply tweak the variables of the included bots in the SDK to fit their mod's needs. This opens up a whole new realm of possibilities for mods like a real civilian insurgency mod, or even more advanced mods like Arma Zeus operations, or even an Antistasi campaign mode. Imagine loading up into a squad Antistasi server. You get the squad graphics with Arma functionality, and yeah, that's exciting. I'm excited for that. I love the Antistasi stuff, but in 2024, Arma 3's now 21-year-old graphics are feeling pretty dated. Or let's even take it a step further. Hear me out here. What if someone was able to make a DayZ mod for Squad, which wasn't all player versus player, but instead open world? You got player versus player, you got player versus environment, you got player versus zombies, player versus wildlife. With Squad's building system, you could theoretically allow players to now build real hideouts and bases while coding zombies, bears, whatever to spawn in, and give them proper pathing and actions, and even recreating helicopter crash sites and other real-time events. The possibilities with these new bots are endless. Personally, I think this is going to bring about a whole new age of squad modding, and I cannot wait to see where it goes. I would love to see modders like Karma's team and Dynamic Direction to come back and take a look at this, since they definitely have the skill level and expertise in order to pull something off with bots and operations. I understand why they left at the time. The SDK has been a huge pain for the longest time, but maybe, just maybe, we're turning a corner. But we'll see. What do you guys think? Are you excited about the better seeding experiences, or maybe you're just sick of the same old game modes and are happy to get a new and improved Insurgency to play? Or maybe you are one of those players who would love to see a crazy overhaul mod like DayZ, or even a campaign Antistasi. Let me know down in the comments below, and if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. But that's it for me. Until next time, peace.